Hi everyone, my name is Miracle, and today we will be discussing whether liberalism and conservatism are really different and the similarities they share. Let's begin. In modern political discussions, liberalism and conservatism are often described as complete opposites. Many people imagine them as two sides of a single political spectrum, where one ideology simply rejects the other. However, scholars have argued that the relationship between liberalism and conservatism is actually more complex than that. Political beliefs often operate across multiple dimensions, and many of the core principles associated with these ideologies overlap. Because of this, liberalism and conservatism may be less opposed than they are commonly portrayed. One important argument comes from research done by Brendan Swedlow, who explains that political ideologies cannot always be understood as a simple left-right spectrum. Instead, he argues that political beliefs often operate among multiple dimensions that reflect different values and attitudes. This means that individuals may hold beliefs that are traditionally associated with both liberalism and conservatism at the same time. Similarly, research done by Brian Choma and his colleagues suggests that political liberalism and conservatism can sometimes be functionally independent rather than strict opposites. Their research shows that people's attitudes towards social issues, government authority, and political policies do not always move in opposite directions. These findings suggest that liberal and conservative ideas can coexist rather than canceling each other out. Historical political thought also demonstrates that liberalism and conservatism share important foundations. For example, take the conservative political thinker Edmund Burke. He supported principles such as constitutional government and individual liberty. However, he argued that political change should occur gradually, with respect for social traditions. Burke's ideas show that conservatism did not necessarily reject liberal principles, but instead sought to preserve stability while maintaining important freedoms. This illustrates that conservatism often develops as a response to liberal ideas, rather than as a completely separate ideological system. Another example of similarities between liberalism and conservatism is their support for many of the same political institutions. In democratic societies, both ideological traditions typically support constitutional government, democratic elections, and the rule of law. Even though liberals and conservatives may disagree strongly about policies such as taxation, social programs, or regulation, they usually accept the same basic framework of government. This idea also connects to the argument made by David T. Koyzis in Political Visions and Illusions. Koyzis explains that political ideologies often elevate one particular value as the central organizing principle of politics. For example, liberalism tends to emphasize individual freedom, while conservatism often emphasizes tradition and social stability. However, both ideologies still operate within the same broader political order. In conclusion, liberalism and conservatism are often treated as two sides locked in opposition. However, when we look more closely, we can see that they share many underlying assumptions about government, freedom, and political order. Rather than being completely separate ideologies, they are better understood as different ways of interpreting and shaping the same political tradition. Thank you.